Okay. So did you guys try it? Any questions from anyone?
So Ram, one silly question: is there a way we can know what tables are empty and what tables are filled with data? The reason I ask
Uh,
is I imported a sample content last week.
mhm.
It got me all the tables as empty. Now I have the sample data. I'm filling it one by one, but it's kind of difficult to because they gave you 20, 30 tables and 20, 30 files to load.
Mm,
Now
mm,
I'm
mm.
struggling with what is empty and what is not.
Yeah, so one way is looking at the space, but I would say for sample content, yeah, I mean, you have to keep track of what are the tables you have loaded and then what are the files. But yeah, I mean, if you want to verify, you have to go again. This is not an exact way to verify. So, like you have to, like you said, you have to open table by table and view
No,
it
that
if it's a
that
Excel
I'm doing
files.
currently. I thought maybe there
Yeah.
is
So other
some
thing is you can
flaws.
go to the system monitor and then you can check the size of the table. Generally, empty tables will have lower sizes, right? And then I don't exactly remember where, but table level sizes will be there. So anyone know where to check the table sizes? I'll tell you tomorrow maybe. So there will
Okay.
be table sizes. So the empty tables will be like 1 KB or 2 KB, and whichever has data will be slightly higher. Depending on the data, the size will be more. So that way you can know which has data, which doesn't.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to show you all is the repository explorer. So what is this repository explorer, right? So if you know in other tools like BW also, there will be many application component or info area like that where you will have different info objects, info cubes, and so on, data sources and so on. And if you want to search in the system wide, like you want to know what are all the objects in the system at one place, there also we have specific places. Same way here also we have different tables, views, everything, but they will be in under many spaces. Like for example, we in our system itself we have, I think, around some 40-50 spaces already, right? So yeah, 33 spaces are there, right? So now if I want to find out where a particular object is, then it is very difficult, like just like how you said, whichever table is filled or not, that is very difficult now. To find out where a particular table is or where a particular object is, it's very difficult. So if there is a centralized place where we can see everything irrespective of where it is, then it would be better. So for that, the repository explorer is the place. So if you go to repository explorer, it will show you all the objects from all the spaces. Right? So these are all the spaces. So if I see here, there are 12 different spaces I have, and let me go into one of the space and find some object. So sales orders with products, right? So if I go to my repository explorer, so if I want to find sales order, I clicked catalog. Yeah, if I search for sales order, so if you see here, I can see the sales order in different places, right? So the one I was looking for is this one, sales order with products, which is a view in RAM one space, and I can see the status and everything. But also, if you see the sales order, I can see from many different spaces, right? So all the different spaces I can see, and even if it is nested inside some folder or something, it will find it, right? And then we have options to filter also. So if I know, for example, the sales order I am searching for is a view, I can say that okay, I'm only interested in the view. So then it will show only that type of object. Same way I can say, if I know the type of the object, I can say that. Or if I know the semantic usage, for example, even if I know it is a table but it is of a particular type, like fact, so I can say fact table, and then I'll say okay, so this is the local fact table, like that. right? And then if there are various other filtering options also, but the primary purpose of this repository explorer is to find system wide, like all the objects across spaces. And then you can find different things also, like you can find all your objects, you can find all the objects that are shared with you. And then if you favorite some objects in any of your spaces, so no one has shared anything with me, so nothing is here. So if from your space, if you share something, then I'll find it. And if I have favorited any objects, it will come under my favorites. Right, and if I recently opened anything or worked with anything, they will all come under my recents. Right, so these are all. If you remember, I just went into a couple of these things, the data flow and all. Yesterday we did. So yeah, so these will give you a good, a good search option to search different things across spaces. And if you know how to search based on the type, the semantic usage, whether the status of whether it is deployed or not, and all that, exposed for consumption, different things, you can search it this way. So that is the repository explorer. And then we have something called as catalog. Right? So why am I comparing different things is because these are the things I know that in past it has confused people, like the business content and the data marketplace, people get confused. Same way, repository explorer and catalog, people get confused. So that's why I'm pitching two things together. So in repository explorer, I hope it is clear for you. This is where you can search different things, and then you can also create things from here. So if I create a local table, where will it get created? So it will ask me for the space. It will show all the 12 spaces I have access to, and then I can say, okay, I want to do it in this space, and then it will take me directly to the space. So yeah, it is not a very great use. I don't know why you would want to create something from here, but yeah, if you want, you can do it from here also. Right, so you can create all the things you can create in a space directly from here. And sometimes, for example, if you don't know where to create a certain thing, for example, if you don't know where to create a consumption model, so you can click from here and it will directly take you to that space, business builder or data builder, whichever is proper for that object. And same way, you can also import things, right? So these options are more like whatever you will find in the space itself, but on a global level. So if you click any of that options, it will ask you for the space. And then if you want to maintain things, right? So for example, I want to maintain a particular space for RAM1. So I have so many objects and I believe it is kind of cluttered, and I want to do some kind of maintenance, like I want to create a folder and put them inside a folder, then I can do that like in one place. So I can go and I can move it into day 2, or if I have created another folder called day 3, I can move it into that, like that. So yeah, so basically this is for searching and then finding things, and then housekeeping or whatever you want to do from here, you can do it. Now coming to catalog, so SAP has this concept of catalog for some time now, right? So they wanted to make catalog as a separate product. They had something called as analytics hub previously, right? So like the data warehouse cloud, analytics cloud, you will see one more option which is called SAP Analytics Hub. I don't know, there is no talks about that nowadays. So I think maybe they dropped the idea. Uh, I'm not sure. Maybe they have not said it is dropped or not, but generally there is no talk about it. So that means probably it is dropped. Right. So SAP has this idea of building a catalog application. Even in SAP S4 HANA, we have this Fiori Launchpad, and there we have this role-based catalogs. Right. So if you are a accounts receivable manager, you can set up your screen in such a way which is suitable for account receivable related functions, like that, right? Same way, this catalogs in the data analytics tools also is for some of the same purposes, which is like uh, to enable you to find objects that are relevant for your role or for your kind of activities that you do. But right away when you open the catalog, it is kind of cluttered or confusing because it is in a particular page called all. So what this all page does is it will show you all the data products. So these are the data products, right? So which is nothing but the same data products we find from here. So if I go to data marketplace and data products, I'll find all the data products there. And then we have all the data providers. So this is nothing but the data products are given by some companies, right? For example, this data product is from SAP. Uh, this data product is from some company, right? Like that, every data product. So this is from Textelator or something, right? So they are all, the data providers. So if I want to go by data provider, for example, if I want to find something from Open Data by SAP, right? So I can go to this data providers catalog, and then I can find out everything related to that data provider. So catalog, you can imagine in your mind like if you go to a paint shop or a paint company, right? And if you decide to paint your house, you don't have any idea. You will have a rough idea. You will think, okay, so my living room should be blue color, my bedroom should be some color, and my daughter's bedroom should be pink color, like that. You have a rough idea. But when you go and ask a painting company or a painting contractor, they will give you a book full of paint colors. So even if you say blue or pink, they'll give you a catalog which has a lot of pink and a lot of blues, right? Same way, here we have catalog because, for example, you are a new business user who is coming to Datasphere. You have to understand, okay, so what are all the options that are available to me in terms of data products and in terms of things that are built in this data sphere system. So if I want to start something new, so maybe our company recruited a new finance manager and he comes into the data sphere system. Before he goes ahead and requests some consulting company to build something, first he has to understand what is already available. So for that, if there is a catalog for this system which can clearly show them, okay, so what is already available, what is available as part of the data products, or what is available as part of what we have built so far, then it becomes easier, for them to make that uh, type of judgment, right? So here, for example, we were discussing about the data providers. So I am in a particular data provider called Open Data, right? And then if I want to, this is the overview of who they are and what is the contact and which is the city and so on. And then we have the actual data product. So if you see here, it says, there are 3 active data products and then there are 26 product views. So these are the 3 active data products. So they have COVID-19 data, and then they have car registration Germany, and then car registration Germany for half year 2022. So if I want to know more, I can read the long description, or I can directly jump to the data product from here, right? And then I can understand, okay, so the documentation of what is happening and what is the exact data. And if I can see if it is already installed, it will show which space it is installed and so on. For example, if I go back to the COVID data product, if you remember, we installed it, right? So if I go to COVID, so if you see here in the installation, so it says RAM1, right? So now as a new finance manager, I can understand, okay, so I was searching something related to finance and I see there is a data product. And I also see there is already, it is installed in some space, right? So this gives me a picture of what is there in this data sphere system as a catalog, right? So let me go back to the other options in the catalog. So if I like a particular data product, okay, so I haven't favorited anything. So for example, I am not going to act. So when you're seeing a painting catalog also, you will not decide right away that which paint you want to go, right? So you will pick like 3 4 paints, shortlist them, and then finally decide, yeah, I want to go with this particular paint, like that. For example, for the data, for the type of problem I'm trying to solve, I find data from multiple things. So for example, let's search for sales. Right, there is some sales from SAP, and then there is some sales from another company, and then there is something from Leadbook. So I have shortlisted all these things. So I have not right away bring them into a space or something. I've just shortlisted them. So now if I go to my favorites, I can pick, you know from where I left. So this is one of the ways where I can shortlist something when I am browsing through the catalog, and then put it into the favorites. But if you don't, I mean, if you are not going to take a long time, you are just browsing through and immediately you will take a decision. So you can go to recent also, and then it will show all the things you recently browsed. So I just opened only the sample data, so it is showing. So if I have opened a couple of things and read about it, then that will also show in the recent. But yeah, if I want explicitly to shortlist certain things, I can mark them as favorites, and then they will be part of my favorites. And then there are a couple of view options here, different view options. So if you like this view, you can keep it, or if you like table like view, you can keep it, or if you like the card view, you can keep it. And then there are sorting options and request options, and then there is this button called request data, right? So if I click that, so there is this data trade AI, right? So we'll come to that. So I have a separate short session on this, but this is basically kind of you requesting something from SAP. So even in the data marketplace, I don't know if you noticed it. So it is like some data you want, but that data is not there, right? So you can request for the SAP partners. So SAP has some 500 plus premium data partners, right? And maybe they have not listed all the data already. They have just put some data, but they might have some other data. So if you want such, so you browse through the catalog and then you see that the particular paint you want is not there, and then you give some hexa code or something. It's like make to order, right? So you can order and then they make for you. Same way in data product also, using this data trade.ai, which is a website which provides such data products. So they have collaboration with SAP Datasphere, and it opens a form like this, and then you have to fill all these details, right? So you have to fill all the details, say yes, I'm a Datasphere customer, and then what are you looking for and all that. So I want free data, or I want internal data, I want commercial data, etc. And basically you want to fill this form and then submit it. And if one of these providers from SAP, if they have such data, they will reach out to you, because here you will give your contact information and everything. So they will reach out to you. At times multiple people will reach out to you if that data is something that is easily available. If you ask for a very niche or very unique data, maybe no one will reach out to you, or only one of them will reach out to you, something like that. So it's basically a way for you to cold email couple of all the players in the data marketplace, and then for them to understand what you need, and then they can reach out to you. And if they see that same type of data product is getting requested by a lot of customers have interest in a particular data product, maybe they'll start building that and putting it in the data marketplace, right? So that basically covers the catalog feature. So in this, any questions? Do you now understand? I think you understand Repository Explorer, catalog, marketplace, and semantic onboarding. Okay, so again, I would say go ahead and then try importing certain things. Don't try to import heavy things because of two reasons. One, will take a long time. Other thing, it will waste space in this particular tenant. So I would say, see, even in the data marketplace or in the in the business content, see whichever is small and then try to activate it and see how they bring in views and bring in tables and open the views, open the data flow and get a feel of it. So for example, I have activated some SAP content here in this space RAM one, and then I can see that okay, yes, there are these things and they are not deployed yet, but yeah, at least they are imported like that. Right. So yeah, so basically understand these four different things. Repository Explorer is like a global search where you can search for anything. Catalog is like it is a neat way of presenting different things and then letting you to choose shortlist first and then again work on the shortlist and finalize and so on. And if you don't find the right thing that you are needing, you can submit a request form to get new data products. And then data marketplace is where you can access the data. So whatever you access in catalog, again, this is in a catalog view, in a proper view. This is in data marketplace. This list, it's most popular data products it's listing. But yeah, it's very difficult to see here, right? So I can only see a few things. If I know the name, yes, I can search from here. I can search from catalog also. But in catalog, even if I don't know what I'm looking for, the nature of catalog itself is to present everything, right? So it presents all the 349 and then I can just browse and then suddenly, oh yeah, this is something maybe I'm interested in, kind of, right? And then in data marketplace, yeah, we have search functionality, we have bookmarking, and we have we will come to this part. So we have to talk about how you can publish something as a data product. We will try that part later, and then you will know my data products and my licenses, everything. But yeah, basically, you now have an understanding of what is a data product and then what is a business content. So, any questions so far on these four items?
Ram, I tried to get one data product. It's getting failed, but there is no message why it is failing.
Okay. So maybe can you share your screen or?
I think you can also see in your data products, my data products.
Okay, what is the thing that you are trying to?
SAP Finance sample data.
This one?
Yeah.
I think this was region specific.
Okay, like I said, it's a heavy one. It's SAP only. Okay. I have also faced something similar. So if you load and it fails, it will not give you proper error message why it is failing. Yeah. So one thing is it could be a data product which requires a business content, right? Sometimes they deliver the business content as the business content and then the data to fill that business content as a data product, right? And sometimes what you have to do is first activate the business content and then load the data, right? So first read about it. I think this is like from the name of it and from seeing this image, I think this is a sample business content. So you might have to activate a sample business content first and then fill this. You try it out. You try to figure out from the documentation. If not, I'll tell you tomorrow if I can find why it is failing. But yeah, I agree with your point that if there are failures, the error messages are not clear. That time completely I agree.
Yeah, even I searched why is there any reason for failing or if they give any brief description about that there's no place to find that. And also, Ram, can you give us one end-to-end demo on one business contact by creating a connections to S4 HANA or BW?
I'll try, but the thing is, so yeah, we have a S4 connection, but we might not have, for example, if we want to check finance, we have to set up some finance data in S4 side also, right? So we have to do some transaction like that. So I will try to see, but if not, I will at least show you how to create a connection and import the business content. But yeah, I mean, you will not see actual data coming from S4 to that business content.
Yeah. First, just wanted to understand how these connections, import setups, we can set up the imports once these connections are established, or I mean, that was Delta Logics or anything.
Yeah, there is a session. I mean, there are sessions on that. So we will discuss about couple of middlewares also, Cloud Connector, Cloud Agent, and DP Agent, and we'll also see how this BW4 and S4 are connected. So very next session is on that. So the next session we'll be talking about connecting to SAP and non-SAP sources, and we'll talk all about this middlewares and everything. And with that, I think most of the pieces will be complete. We'll also talk about the business builder. So with that, most of the technical pieces will be complete. Then what we are going to do is we'll take a business scenario or a end-to-end scenario, and we'll start building something from the data builder layer till the reporting layer as a single flow. And then you will see in a real project how things will happen.
Okay. And one question about yesterday's session is on the replication flow. So if you're creating a replication flow from S4, can you create S4 to DataSphere?
Yes. So we will create a replication flow from S4 to Amazon S3 bucket, or we will create one end-to-end replication flow, and we will try to replicate multiple tables. At that time, I think you will understand. So what yesterday I was showing is I wanted to highlight the difference between the data flow and the replication flow, because that's one of the common misconception point. And good thing that you brought this question. Yesterday, while discussing data flow, we were talking about some things like filtering, right? In the delete option, especially. Okay, I'm not answering you, so I'm going ahead with the session. So yeah, one thing that we were discussing is about the data flow, and one thing that brought up was filtering, right? And one thing I said is there is no filtering option when you select the delete, and I was discussing today, and then suddenly I remembered, okay, maybe I left a wrong impression for you, because when I said there is no selective deletion within the data flow, what I meant is when you select a delete option in SAC, here in the delete option itself, it will ask you to put various dimensions and filters for those dimensions. That type of setup is not there in a data flow. But within a data flow itself, if you want to apply filters, even for delete or whatever, you can apply filters in the projection operator. So that anyways, we will cover when we are talking about all the operators. So for now, I wanted to clear this misconception first, because some of you might think the data flow itself does not have any filters. So that's not the case. In the projection, if you see, there is a filter. And here you can filter like a SQL filter. So I can say employee ID and birth date, etc. And I can also filter with the input parameter. So when I'm clicking any of these boxes, that is highlighting the property of those boxes, like the source or target. But if I click outside the empty canvas, that will highlight the property of the entire data flow itself. So when you highlight the property of the data flow, you get to a section called input parameters, which is nothing but you can supply some variables to the data flow. We'll get into all these details, but for now, yeah, these are the input parameters. And for example, if I want to give a range of employee IDs to be filtered out, right? So what I have done is in the projection, I have put a filter where I say employee ID less than and my input parameter. So input parameters you will give with this symbol, like in SQL format. So now if you see here in a data preview in my employees table, so I will have all the data. I think some 9-10 records only. Yeah, 9 records, and all the employee IDs are like this. Now, when I run this, you know, data flow, now because I have an input parameter, it will pop up and it will ask the user for a selection, right? So the user can enter an employee ID basically. Uh, so it will ask for an employee ID, and the user can enter an employee ID. And as per our logic, it will filter out any employee ID less than 3 now, right? So this way of filtering is there in data flow, right? So don't confuse that the data flow doesn't have any filter. No, in the delete option, there is no selective deletion. That's what I meant. So the discussion went a little far, and we were discussing other things also, like how to filter from the source and so on. So I wanted to clear the air, because some of you might assume that data flow, inside data flow, we have no filters. So yes, there are filters inside data flow. Okay. So now what I am going to cover is the transport logic, right? And this is called lifecycle management. So what is lifecycle management and what is this transports, right? So if you see this in the semantic onboarding, in the content, in the business content and everything, there is a term called content network, right? So what is this content network? So in SAC as well as in DataSphere, you can think about, there is one instance of DataSphere. So let's call it DataSphere 1. And then there is another instance of DataSphere. Let's call it DataSphere 2, right? So this can be called as a tenant or service based on how it is provisioned, right? But irrespective of that, this is one DataSphere system, and then this is another DataSphere system. Now, because they are cloud applications, they can be running on different data centers. So how will you find that? So if you see here in the URL, there is a data center called VR10, right? So if you search for SAP Analytics Cloud Data Centers, data center location. So if you see here, there are different data centers that are located in different countries. And then previously, SAP used to have two types of data centers. One is called Neo Data Center. The other is called Cloud Foundry Data Center, right? So now it's the Neo is not there anymore. So it is all Cloud Foundry data centers only. So basically, all these tenants, like this entire data sphere or the SAC, they are sitting somewhere on some data center. In our case, it is sitting in BR10, right? And then there can be another system that is maybe sitting in some other data center, say AP10 or AP11, something, right? So now there are two systems. Now how do I transport? Even it can sit in the same data center. There is nothing wrong about that. It can sit in BR10 also. So this is one cloud system. This is another cloud system. This is sitting somewhere. This can sit in same place or some other place. But how do I ensure that when I want to transport something from here, that goes to that system also? So these things have to be connected somehow. There should be some backbone kind of connectivity that is connecting, that is having communication between all these different things, right? So that backbone, whichever SAP uses to connect these different things, right? That backbone is called the content network. So if you want to transport something, you have two ways of transporting. One thing is I can go to this system, right? And then I can download whatever I want to transport as a CSN or JSON file, right? I can download the CSN or JSON, or I can download a package, right? So when I do that, what happens is from this machine, whatever I want, table view or whatever I want, is downloaded to my local laptop or my PC, right? and then I have the package. Now what I can do is I can go to the other system, I can log in, and then I can upload this. That is called file system kind of transport. So in that, I am not using the content network, so I am doing it offline. Like I take a download, and then I have the packages, and I log into the second system, and then I upload it. That is the old way, or the file system way. Now they have connected all these things together on a backbone, which is called content network. So you don't have to do this type of downloads and uploads anymore. Like it's not encouraged to do that anymore. Right. So instead, what you can do is you can directly, okay, so whatever I want, I can collect all those into a package. And when I say export, it will export to the content network. So in the content network, whichever all the tenants are there, and whichever tenants we are authorized, like in that particular customer, whichever tenants that customer wants to transport to, all those tenants can now read from the content network the package you published. So there is no you are not downloading anything locally, and you are not uploading anything to the second system also. So content network is nothing but the connectivity infrastructure that connects all these different cloud tenants, so that things can move from one tenant to another tenant. Okay. So now, with that in mind, let's come to the concept of packages. Something happened. Okay, so in DataSphere, there are two types of packages. Okay, so the first type of package is called deployment package, and the other is called a repository package. So now, what is the difference? So you can think of uh, the deployment package or the transport package as a big truck or packers and movers truck, right? So you have a big truck that's uh, going to, okay, so that's the truck. It's not reading, Excel is not reading the uh, images, but yeah, think of this as a truck which can have a lot of content, and think of repository package as a container or a box, right? So the purpose is, see, there are two types of people who will be involved in a transport, even in other SAP systems, right? There will be a set of admin people, or you know in some companies they'll say only the security team or the admin team will do the actual transports, right? They will only have access. Now we are all administrators, so we all see all options. But in a typical development environment, you will be a modeler, and you will not even see this option for export and import, right? So it will not be your job, maybe in a customer company, to do the export import. So the actual export import will be done by maybe an administrator, right? So same way, when you are vacating your house, right, you will contact a Packers and Movers company, and they will bring in the truck. And maybe if you have everything already packed, they will load all the packages into the truck, and they will transport from point A to point B, right? Or the other thing is, yes, you can allow the Packers and Movers inside your house. They'll bring big boxes, they'll dump everything into the boxes. They will not understand or properly organize things the way you would have organized, because you are the homeowners. You know what goes where, which is fragile, and in bedroom what are the things you want to keep. So if you containerize things, you will do it in a different way. But if you allow someone to containerize things, they may not know the priorities, the dependencies, and so on. So this gap is always there, right? So that's why SAP, what always it does is, it allows the developers to collect all the packages, collect the dependencies, and collect everything, and put it into nice transportable boxes, right? And then it allows the administrators or security people to collect all these back boxes into a truck and then transport it. This has been there in S4 HANA, in BW, or any types of SAP system also, you will create something called as a TR, or transport request, and you will collect all your objects into packages, and the packages will be attached to TR. And then your company will have some policy, like every month or every quarter you will do transport, that the security team will do transport. So they will see all the TRs in release status, and they will plainly do the technical aspects of it. They'll just transport it. They will not care about what is inside a particular TR, what is inside that particular package. Same way in DataSphere also. In SAC, this distinction is not there. In SAC, everything is just a simple package, and you can export and import. But in DataSphere, we have a difference between the repository package, which is like a box, and the expectation is that the modelers, or the developers who are creating the objects, to collect everything, and to the system will handle some of the dependencies. It knows if you collect a view, what it depends on, and so on. But you, as the creator, you will know more. Okay, so first you will know that, okay, first it requires this connection, and then it requires this thing, and then it requires that thing, and everything. And you have to ensure that you are collecting everything in a logical way, and you are creating a repository package. This package is like, this will be worked mostly by the security folks or admin folks, and they typically do not care about the dependencies. And in some companies, there is no distinction in the role level, like anyone can do both the packages. But the idea behind why SAP developed it in such a way is that, okay, so this repository level package is like for the developers or the modelers who are working inside one space or couple of spaces, to create the core level package where they collect all the things that they have developed. And then this deployment package or the transport package is where the higher level teams, the security teams or admin teams, who are going to actually do the transport from system A to system B, to collect all this repository packages and then transport it from A to B. So if you logically understand that distinction, right, so it becomes easier to go now and talk about the different packages. So for example, now I want to create a package for the test space. So I am creating a package called, so is this a repository package or a transport package? So if you see in the top, the name of the URL, so you can see that it is a repository package, right? So I'm creating the repository package, and then I can give some name and then some technical ID, right? So, and if I want to elaborate, I can give a business purpose. And this target location is important. We'll come to that. For now, it is just saying my content. That's okay. But we'll come to that. And this version is also important. We will come to that also. But one thing I want to for you to concentrate is the naming convention. For example, I'm going to transport something related to sales, right? Then I can just say, I should give a name like just the name that describes the contents of the package. I should not give names like sales order dev version 1, like that, because you are not only going to have this package in the development system, it's going to be transported to quality system, it's going to be transported to production system, and everywhere it's going to use this technical name only. It's not changeable, right? So it is a very bad naming convention to keep your landscape name or the system name in the package. That's one thing. So you should not have dev, quality, prod, etc. in your name. And same way, versioning also. Previously, there was no versioning option. So I used to see people putting in the name itself some version, and then they used to create different packets. They will have sales order V1, and then they'll create sales order V2, etc. But now we have a versioning field. So again, this is also a bad practice. So you keep the name which describes the business, whatever is inside that package, in a very simple business context, right? And then keep it very short, as short as possible. If you want to elaborate, then you put all that details here, right? So that is the first screen in the general screen. And then I can go to the required packages, right? and then if I want, I can add. So I currently I don't have any other repository packages, so I don't have any packages. So this is where I said, if you have dependencies, all of them should not have to be in the same package. Like I don't have to collect everything in here itself as the objects, right? I can have other packages. Say for example, I'm packing uh, um, a bed and mattress, right? So I don't have to pack everything into a single cardboard box. I can have a separate cardboard box for my bed and another cardboard box for my mattress, right? And I can say that, okay, so I will have some marking which says that this both boxes should go into my bedroom. So same way, I can have different packages. So say, for example, I can collect all my connections, or I can collect all my tables into one package, and then I can collect all my views on the package. There is no reason to do like that. I can collect everything in a single package also. But if I want to have a logical way, for example, I want to collect all the sales order header related information in one package, and then all the sales order item related information in another package, and then I know that without the sales order header, the sales order items cannot be